Hello lovely beaders. Welcome back to my channel. A few weeks ago I showed you how to create these fun resin cabochons, remember? I promised back then that we'd turn them into a beautiful piece of jewelry, and today is the day. I've designed this lovely beaded bezel that perfectly fits our cabochons. In this tutorial we'll be making these earrings. I made a ring with the same pattern too, just so you can see the possibilities. But the really cool thing is this pattern is super versatile. You can also use it with a standard Rivoli. Ready to get started? So grab your beads and let's make something pretty. First you need to glue the earring base onto the cabochons. You can do this with regular jewelry glue, but I prefer UV resin gluing because it's super fast. So I took the cabochons I chose and put them back into the mold. Then I put a dot of UV resin on the cabochon, put the earring base on it and put them under UV light for 1 minute. Then I put another layer of UV resin on them so that the resin completely covers the surface and the top of the earring base. Then I put them under UV light again, but this time for 2 minutes. And that's it, I can start the project. You can use jewelry glue to do this, but you have to wait the recommended time. I made the ring first to find a pattern that would work well with a cabochon in this size. It turned out to be a very simple and quick little pattern. But today I want to make earrings with this pattern. Let me know if you're interested in a ring as well. Start by stringing 8 pieces of pinch beads alternately with size 11 seed beads. Pull the beads down on your thread and put a double knot to make a circle with the beads. Pull the knot into the pinch bead and step out from the seed bead after that pinch bead. String 1 size 11 seed bead, 4 size 15 seed beads and 1 size 11 seed bead. Go through the next seed bead from the starting circle. And step back in the size 11 seed bead from your first unit of seed beads. String 4 size 15 seed beads and 1 size 11 seed bead and go through the next seed bead from the starting circle. Step back in the size 11 seed bead from your second unit of seed beads. Repeat the last step around until you reach the last unit. I will speed up parts of the video to not bore you with the repeated parts of the beading. Don't forget that you can slow it down by clicking on the cogwheel icon and selecting the speed you want. These seed bead circles will be the decorations on the front side of the cabochon. So try to make them tight and nice. And here it is. This will be the last unit. You need only the size 15 seed beads, because you have the size 11 seed beads in place already. With the size 15 seed beads, go through the size 11 seed bead from the first unit. And go through the seed bead from the starting circle to finish the step. I want to get rid of the tail. So I thread the tail, I go through some beads and I cut it. Never cut a thread right after a knot. Now we need to start the back side of the bezel. String 3 pieces of size 11 seed beads and go back in the seed bead from the starting circle and go through the pinch bead to reach the next seed bead in the circle. You will have a right angle weave type of circle with 4 beads. Repeat around. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Your support helps me keep creating free content. Every like, comment and share makes a difference. Want to do more? You can buy me a coffee or check out my tutorials and jewelry. Links are in the description. Thank you so much for helping me keep this channel going. I have all the raw circles in place. Lead your thread to a middle bead from a raw unit. String 3 pieces of size 11 seed beads between the middle beads from the raw units. This row will not be as tight as we will want. But don't worry, the next row will fix this problem. With the last unit, go through the 3 seed beads from the first unit. This is like a step up in the peyote if you want to start a new row. Put the cabochon inside the bezel and pull the last row tight. The bezel is not tight enough yet, but it will be with the next row. String size 11 seed beads between the units strung in the previous row. So string 1 seed bead and go through the 3 seed beads strung previously. And repeat. Try to pull this row as tight as you can. I know this is a tricky part. It's hard to hold the cabochon without the earring base poking you, but you have to keep the thread tight and secure. But be patient, the next row will be much easier. A quick heads up. I know some of you might be using a 16mm Rivoli with its pointed back. So I made the next row for a Rivoli version. If you have a flat back cabochon, please wait just a moment for the second version. String 2 pieces of size 11 seed beads between the seed beads strung in the previous row. So on top of the 3 seed beads now you string 2 seed beads. For the Rivoli version, this is the last row. Just a quick explanation for this row. It's designed slightly differently to accommodate the Rivoli's pointed back, which leaves a bit more space here than a flat cabochon. I'm also stopping the beading for the Rivoli version here because I added a beaded loop for an earring hook. I didn't use a stud finding for the Rivoli. But you absolutely don't have to stop. If you prefer a fully closed back, perhaps you have a stud earring post that is good for the Rivolis, feel free to keep going. Just go to the next row, which I'll show for the flat back version, to help close the Rivoli back completely. As you can see, my back is finished with this row. And I've created a beaded loop using a seed bead from the starting circle and 5 size 15 seed beads. As you can see here, with a flat back cabochon, it's not ideal to go with the Rivoli version I showed just now. The beads are crowded and it is not too nice. So let's make the version for the flat back cabochon. In this row, string 2 pieces of size 15 seed beads between the seed beads strung in the previous row. So, on top of the 3 pieces of size 11 seed beads, now you string 2 pieces of size 15 seed beads. They are a little bit loose on their place, but that is okay. I really like these simple bezels. With this simple bezel, the focus is on the cabochon, the other beads just highlights the beauty and color of it. Make the step up. So go through the first unit of seed beads strung in the previous row. String a size 11 seed bead and go through the second unit of size 15 seed beads. Repeat around. This is the penultimate row, so we are almost finished. And the row with the size 15 seed beads is not loose anymore. You need to step up for the next row, so go through the first seed bead strung in the previous row. String 1 piece of size 11 seed bead between every bead strung in the previous row. Technically it is a peyote row. This is the last row. The beads are now covering the big part of the earring. But if you have a smaller stud earring, you can go with 1 more row. But in that row, string size 15 seed beads. Go through the beads from the last row again to pull them as tight as you can. The earring is finished with this step. I finished both versions, and in just a moment I'll show you the difference side by side. Notice how much more smoothly and evenly the beads lay on this version where we switched that 1 row to size 15 seed beads for the flat back cabochon. All you have to do is put some double knots to finish your thread. And that's the end of today's video. If you watched it and liked it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for spending time with me. See you next week.